Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Ram, Ram Ram, Hare Hare. Jaya Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada, Prabhupada, Jaya Prabhupada. Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Bala, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Hari Bol, Jai Bala, Hari Bol.
So, Hare Krishna, Guruji's and Mataji's. Please accept my respectful obeisances. I need a lot of your prayers and blessings. Please give me that strength so that we can speak something about the glorification of the Lord. It's a very important day because yesterday only we had Prabhupada's disappearance day. Which disappearance day it was? 48th. So, yes, so we discuss about today's verse, which is Srimad Bhagavatam 1.4.9 and 10, in the light of Prabhupada's teachings. So, that is the theme. So, start with the prayer. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya.
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 Om Jnanatimirandasya.
Om Ajnanatimirandasya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Jnananjana Shalakaya.
Chakshurunmilitam Yena. Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Tasmai Shri Guruve Namaha.
Namo Vishnupadaya.
Namo Vishnupadaya.
Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale.
Srimate Bhaktivedanta. Swami Niti Namine.
Namaste Saraswati Devi.
Namaste Saraswati Devi.
Gauravani Pracharine.
Gauravani Pracharine.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi.
Nirvishesha Shunyavadi.
Paschatya Deshatarine.
Paschatya Deshatarine.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Prabhu Nityananda.
Shri Advaita
Shri
Gadadhara.
Advaita Gadadhara.
Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Shri Vasadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda.
Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. One more time, loudly. Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. So, once again, seeking your blessings, we discuss about today's verse. Kindly repeat after me. Abhimanyu Sutam Suta.
Abhimanyu Sutam Suta.
Rahur Bhagavato Tamam.
Rahur Bhagavato Uttamam.
Tasya Janma Mahascharya.
Tasya Janma Mahascharya.
Karmani Cha Ganina.
Karmani Cha Gariniha.
Any one Prabhuji or Mataji? Maybe first Prabhuji and second Shloka will be. Who wants to repeat, please?
Abhimanyu Sutam Suta. Rahur Bhagavato Uttamam. Tasya Janma Mahascharya. कर्माणि च गृहीणीः.
Can somebody please read the translation to the Buddhist?
It is said that Maharaj Parikshit is a great first-class devotee of the Lord, and that his birth and activities are all wonderful. Please tell us about him.
Yes. So when we discuss about this word, birth and activity, which shloka of Bhagavatam comes in our mind immediately? Yes. This Bhagavad Gita 4.9. This Bhagavad Gita 4.9 is the verse which Srila Prabhupada had quoted most number of times. Entire his life, 4.9. Okay. So when we understand the activities and the birth, the nature of the activities and birth of the Lord, then we don't have to come back to this word again. So sounds very easy. Just understand about birth activities. What is the big deal? So the next verse will tell us how to achieve that. So before we go, let us read the purport. It's a very small purport. So this entire first shloka is dedicated to Prabhuji's. Then for the second shloka, we go to Mataji's. So any other Prabhuji who wants to read the purport?
The birth of Maharaj Parikshit is wonderful because in the womb of his mother, he was protected by the personality of Godhead, Sri Krishna. His activities are also wonderful because he chastised Kali, who was attempting to kill a cow. To kill the cows means to end human civilization. He wanted to protect the cow from being killed by the great representative of sin. His death is also wonderful because he got previous notice of his death, which is wonderful for any mortal being, and thus he prepared himself for passing away by sitting down on the bank of the Ganges and hearing the transcendental activities of the Lord. During all the days, he heard Bhagavatam. He did not take food or drink, nor did he sleep a moment. So everything about him is wonderful, and his activities are worth hearing attentively. The desire is expressed herein to hear about him in detail.
So this desire is made by the sages of Naimisharanya to Sutta Goswami. Okay? They want to understand about Parikshit, whose everything is wonderful. So some of the acharyas, they comment on this part. They say Parikshit Maharaj took the vow to hear about the activities of the Lord, and the vow was he will not move, he will not eat, he will not take rest, he will not do anything until he is alive. Okay? So Parikshit Maharaj knew that he had 7 days left, and that itself is very glorious. He is the one who had the darshan of the Lord even when he was there in the home. He is the one who had chastised Kali. Okay? So why is it so important to hear about the activities of the Lord and his devotees? These sages of Naimisharanya, they were very intelligent, because when Sutta Goswami was passing from there, they made the desire to hear about the devotees of the Lord. Bhagavatam is what? It is just a description of the devotees of the Lord. And one condition that they have put is to describe us anything if it has a relationship to the Lord. So it is very important, because Chaitanya Mahaprabhu says in Madhya Lila 8.70 that it was a discussion between Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Ramananda Rai. So they are discussing about the pure devotional service is very, very rare. One has to take hundreds and thousands of lifetimes. Still it remains unachievable. And if there is only one price, okay, to get the pure devotional service, that one price is intense greed to hear about the Lord. And if Mahaprabhu continues, and if one gets a chance to get that linoleum, please buy it at any price. So And Chaitanya Mahaprabhu did not do it. He did not even just say it. He followed it, right? Because Mahaprabhu is Lord Krishna in the form of a devotee, in the heart of Srimati Radharani. So he used to hear about the pastimes of Dhruva Maharaj, Prahlad Maharaj. One great sannyasi says that. Is it okay if we do this window? Sorry. So I heard in a class by sannyasi. So Maharaj said that Chaitanya Mahaprabhu used to hear one line of the pastime of Prahlad Maharaj, and then he will meditate 7 hours, 8 hours, whole night. He's thinking about that same one line. And every morning he goes to Gadadhar Pandit in Jagannath Puri. Krishna Masi, we all got the chance to visit. So every morning he will hear from Gadadhar Pandit the same pastime of Prahlad Maharaj. So hundreds of times, and same pastime of Guru Maharaj. So he's not only just saying that hearing is important, he's following it himself and teaching this. So when we want to develop the desire of how do I answer of any how to question in our life. If any question starts with how to, okay, it can be any material question or anything. Answer of any how to question in our life is follow those who are doing it already. Okay? So when we hear about the pastimes of devotees, then we develop the habit, the pure devotional service just by hearing. The hearing has so much of potency, it is always underestimated. If I just tell, let us do a quick demo. Okay? If I just tell, today is 26th October. November, Karnataka government is announcing nobody has to go to office. Everybody will get full salary sitting at home. Look at the effect of that one line in our consciousness. So hearing is not only easy, but it is most sublime and has immediate effect. So when somebody is diseased, we give them medicine. But right, if somebody is severely diseased, and vaccine. This only the Zebra Swami Maharaj has written book, right? What is it? Devotional vaccine? Bhakti vaccine. Yes. So hearing is that vaccine. It goes immediately and performs. The action is instant. So yes. We'll just read the translation. Mataji's.
He was a great emperor and possessed all the opulences of his acquired kingdom. He was so exalted that he was increasing the prestige of the Pandu dynasty. Why did he give up everything to sit down on the bank of the Ganges and fast until then?
So who's asking this question? Yes. Who should they go? Yes, Mataji, please continue.
Maharajah Parikshit was the emperor of the world and all the seasons, and he did not have to pay the price of acquiring such a by his own effort. He inherited it from his grandfathers, Maharaja Yudhishthira and brothers. Besides that, he was well in the administration and was worthy of good names of his forefathers. Consequently, there was nothing undesirable in his opulence and administration. Then why should he give up all these favorable circumstances and sit down on the bank of Ganges, fasting till death? This is astonishing, and therefore all were eager to know the cause.
So now the sages want to know why did he go to the bank of Ganges? He was not an ordinary king. He was the ruler, emperor. King is one person who has control on some small area. Emperor is one who is owning everything. So Parikshit Maharaj was the emperor of the entire world. So, and it was not like somebody had insulted him, or so. For example, King Anga in the fourth canto. Okay. So he was also a king, emperor of the whole world, but he left his kingdom. Why? Because his son Vena was not following him. So that was not the case of Parikshit Maharaj. Everybody was following him, very respectful. So why did he go suddenly? Okay. So they further tell they know the answer, but they want to hear more in detail from Sudha Goswami. So once again, when we hear about the devotees of the Lord, then their qualities, without even we asking for, we don't know what prayer to make. Okay, we can just repeat whatever our acharyas had done. That is sufficient. So when we do hear about the devotees of the Lord, their qualities, without even asking, we imbibe them silently. Okay. So now, one great devotee for us, who has uh, who has done so much thing for us, is none other than our AC Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So once one of the senior sannyasi, disciple of Srila Prabhupada, Brahmananda Baru, he was giving a class, and one of the audience in the class asked that you sound like you are comparing and taking Srila Prabhupada at the same level as Krishna. And Brahmananda Prabhu said, once we did this mistake of taking Krishna and Prabhupada at the same level. Once we did this mistake. Okay? And then he continues. The climax part comes now. So he said, but later we realized Prabhupada is more than Krishna. because it was Prabhupada who had come to West. Okay? So, who gave us Krishna, who gave us Srimad Bhagavatam. So when we hear about Srila Prabhupada, we are into an instruction movement, and we are as strongly connected to Srila Prabhupada as strongly we are following his instructions. Otherwise we are not in ISKCON. Okay, we are somewhere but not ISKCON. ISKCON means Prabhupada says ISKCON is by body, and if we feel, oh, I have done by Bhakti Shastra, I have done IDC, so now I can only do Vani Seva. There are two kinds of Seva: Vani Seva, Vapu Seva. Vapu Seva is the one which we can do physically. For example, if the Deshwar Guru comes and I massage his feet, then this is Vapu Seva. The Vani Seva is whatever Guruji says, if I follow that, that is Vani Seva. Okay? Prabhupada told ISKCON is my body. And if we serve ISKCON, that is equal to serving Prabhupada's body. And serving the body is equal to Vapu Seva. So if we have some doubt, I cannot do Vapu Seva. I wish I could see Prabhupada once. Then I could also be very serious devotee. Now is the time. Okay? And how are we getting to know of them? Hearing. Right? So, yes, with this foundation, because it is important to hear why Parikshit Maharaj left, that will follow. Okay? The sense is when we hear about the great devotees, like the sages of Nimisharanya, okay, if we do have the desire of hearing about the devotees of the Lord, then it is very, very important. Okay? So we discuss further about that greatest devotees for us, Srila Prabhupada. Yesterday was the disappearance day. So whatever I am going to present further, none of is mine. I just heard it from senior devotees at different points in time, and I just collated them together. So the sole purpose of this presentation is to use the things in our surroundings such that it gives us a chance to remember Krishna. And in this material world, one thing that we all find around us most of the time is one logo or another of famous brands, companies. Okay? So I dedicate this to my beloved grandfather, Srila Prabhupada, on his 40th disappearance day. And if you find any mistake, it is only due to my lack of understanding and abundance of ignorance in me. I seek your forgiveness once more to discuss about Prabhupada. So whatever we are going to discuss, uh, we have taken different thoughts from Srila Prabhupada, his mood, his text from the different purpose, what he wanted us to follow, dedicate this to Prabhupada. Yes, so this is the first one. Okay, so because Prabhupada had named this society as the International Society for Krishna Consciousness. Okay, and in this word ISKCON, ISKCON, three letters are for International Society for Krishna, and last three letters CON is only for the consciousness. Okay? So what the things that we see around us have great impact on our consciousness, because without even we putting any extra effort, we learn them. Those impressions are there in our mind. Okay? So the consciousness is actually the most important word, okay? Because that decides whom we want to serve. We will discuss more here further as we go further. So BMW, yes. So in Srimad Bhagavatam, yeah, BMW first of all stands for body, mind, and voice. Okay, and Prabhupada told, can someone read? If it is visible.
One who acts to serve Krishna with his body, mind, intelligence, and words is a liberated person, even within this material world.
So in Srimad Bhagavatam 11.2.36, we know the famous verse, Kayena vacha manasendriyam, buddhyatmana vanu shraddha svabha, karoti yadyat sakalam parasme narayana yeti samarpayet. So in this verse, Kaya means the body, Vacha means words, and Manasa means mind. If we serve Krishna by our body, mind, and words, okay, then it means we are completely surrendered. Okay. So the idea of this discussion is like whenever we see this logo, it should remind us of Krishna, because we are seeing them anyway, right? So what if we can remind us of Krishna? That is the only humble attempt. We don't need to put extra effort thinking how this logo is connected to Krishna. Otherwise, we fail the purpose. Right? We go very close to Bharat Maharaj in that case. Bharat Maharaj went to forest, okay, but he got attachment to the deer. Saving deer was good. He was a king. He should save it. But then spending more efforts in saving the deer is equal to thinking how this logo can be connected to Krishna. We don't need to do that. Putting the necessarily our efforts. Okay? If we happen to see them and it can remind us of Krishna, that is the whole purpose. Okay? Yes. So the next BMW is done. We see this many times, right? Make my trip. All of us used. Okay? So now, when we see this make my trip, it should remind us of where? Back home. Back home. Okay. So yes. So we'll go alternatively. This time if Santakuji can please read.
I am thankful of you very much for accepting me as your spiritual master, and I promise that I will take you back home, back to Godhead. I ask you all to promise me to always chant at least 16 rounds, follow the regulative principles, read our books, and try to preach this Krishna consciousness movement all over the world.
Thank you. In this world, if we give 100 rupees to someone, what is the immediate thing that we expect? That person saying us things. Prabhupada is giving us Goloka Vrindavan. And he is saying things. How the statement started? I thank you all. So, see, we have visited so many places in our life. Prabhupada told once that whatever I had to give you, I have given it to you through my books. Now you can run from Japan to Russia or India, okay? But you will not be satisfied. People said you can run from Japan to Russia, India, anywhere, but you will not be satisfied. If you want to be satisfied, read my books. Everything is there, whatever I wanted to give you. So, Prabhupada's books are his ecstasies. And even Prabhupada's disciple has confirmed this in many lectures. We don't know what the ecstasy means. We have never experienced that. Okay? But when a person is extremely happy and wants to give something, okay, that is a mood. Prabhupada is seeing Krishna the same way as we are seeing each other. So what he is experiencing, then he is putting them in the words. Prabhupada many times while writing, he will stop immediately and think for hours to decide what is the next word that has to be written. So it's not like just written. We know the example of His Holiness Tamal Krishna Swami Maharaj. Once some reporter came to Prabhupada and asked, how could you manage to write these many books? And Prabhupada told, Krishna dictated me. And when His Holiness Tamal Krishna Swami Maharaj saw, reporter was not able to understand what Prabhupada said. So Maharaj told, Krishna inspires Prabhupada, and then Prabhupada's right. So like this, he was trying to balance the situation. But then Prabhupada immediately corrected. No, Krishna dictates me. So, in our life, if we somehow, with the mercy of Srila Prabhupada, if we happen to see Prabhupada or any of his disciples or Krishna in our dreams, we will be so jubilant for days and we will announce to the whole world, oh, yes, so here is the devotee. Okay. Prabhupada was seeing him all the times. Whatever he is writing, what can one think of when he is seeing Krishna? Prabhupada is always seeing him. So his purports are pathways to Goloka. His Holiness Ayendra Prabhu. He says Krishna is the black letters and Srimati Radharani is the page. When book is printed, white page and then printing. So Srimati Radharani and Krishna are Prabhupada's purpose. We should be extremely careful while reading. Okay? And we should read as if and not as if, because Prabhupada has written it for us, for me. And if we bring the sense of belongingness, Prabhupada has written it for me, not for the community. Okay? Then the sense of belongingness comes. It is for me that Prabhupada has written. So, yes, and after all that, he's saying thanks. So, let us pray. We go back home, back to Godhead, when we see the logo, make my trip. Next time, yes. It says, कुछ अच्छा हो जाए, कुछ मीठा हो जाए. Means that's something good and something sweet. So, Nilakanta Goswami says, Madhuram Madhure Vyovapi Mangale Vyovapi Mangalam Pavanam Pavale Vyovapi Hare Naega Kevalam. Yes, so Mataji, please.
More sweet than all other sweet things, more auspicious than all other auspicious things, the greatest purifier of all purifying things, the holy name of Sri Hari alone is everything.
So, it is most auspicious, most sweetest, greatest, most purifier among everything. So, once Srila Prabhupada was asking his disciples, why do you think I have written so many books? And different disciples answered in different ways. So that we can be inspired, so that you can give us the real knowledge, so that our anandas can be purified. Prabhupada said, yes, all right, that is all correct. But the main reason why I have written all these books is so that you can chant. So another sannyasi told in one of his class that when we chant, 99% of our spiritual success depends on the chanting. But that chanting, that 99% becomes dry if we don't read. Okay? And reading keeps us going. So now, because we can, so that we can be fully convinced, okay, that chanting is our only hope. For that, again, Sinasi says that by reading the scriptures, one knows what Krishna wants and how to become his. Okay? Because how can we serve someone? Okay? Something, okay, we'll pause it here. We are in the legacy. We have to take the legacy of Srila Prabhupada further, right? This is what is supposed from us by our spiritual masters. We want to take the legacy of spiritual master, or now Srila Prabhupada, further. How can we take it if we don't know what Srila Prabhupada's mood was? We are celebrating Prabhupada's disappearance day. His legacy is not temples. Prabhupada Bhaktisiddhanta Maharaj told, if you reach to a point where you are out of funds, sell all the temples, print books, and distribute it. So legacy is not the books, not the temples. Legacy is the mood. Okay? If we don't know Prabhupada's mood, what he wanted, what are we going to carry? Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam 4.29.33 says, in this world, okay, if there is a heavy weight on the head, what do we do? It's becoming difficult to tolerate. I keep that on the shoulder because it's paining so much here. Okay? That has not reduced even 1 gram of the weight. Now I feel more heavier here. What do I do? Another shoulder. We're just carrying away, carrying all the weights of our life and just shifting them one place to another. Prabhupada's legacy, if you want to carry, it should not be weight. It should come naturally. If Prabhupada had felt it as weight means he will give up it sometimes. Okay? It has to come naturally because Prabhupada wanted to do it for the pleasure of Krishna and his spiritual master. Srimad Bhagavad Gita, preface, last line before introduction. Prabhupada said that if after all these efforts, okay, if one devotee becomes pure, right, then it is a purpose achieved. Okay? And in some of the other lectures, Prabhupada says, I wish after all these efforts, if one person becomes a great devotee, on his shoulder I will go to Goloka. Prabhupada says, I cannot go on my own. Okay? So the point is the mood. That mood we need to carry. Otherwise we are carrying something. And after some time we will feel that as pain. Because if you are not carrying the mood, it is something else. And then we will give it up. For sure we will give it up. Because then it cannot continue. Yes, coming back to it. Amazon, everyone uses it. Right? And you are done. Yes. And Bhagavad Gita, find solution for all your problems in Bhagavad Gita. Right? The usual way of the day. So, one lady asked this question to Prabhupada. It is mentioned in the same preface and introduction. Which version of Bhagavad Gita should I read? So, Prabhupada mentioned that so many scholars have written Bhagavad Gita, but if they don't know what Krishna wanted to give, then they are just doing their own sense gratification. Okay? What we have done in our version of Bhagavad Gita is what Krishna wanted to explain to Arjuna. So, once again, the purpose is to serve Krishna because it is his message. When we go to, how many of us have gone to Vrindavan? So in Vrindavan, if somebody wants to go to ISKCON, they will say either first thing, where is ISKCON temple? Obviously, most of the people will know. Second category of people says Angrezon ka mandir, means temple of English people. Okay. First, ISKCON temple, people know that temple by ISKCON temple. Second set of people know it by Angrezon ka mandir. Third list of category, I mean, people they know it Krishna Balaram temple. But nobody will know where is the temple which Prabhupada has set up. Prabhupada has kept Krishna in the center always. He has not brought himself in the front. Okay. When we do the celebration of Prabhupada's appearance day, then there is a time there is a best opportunity to come more and more closer to Srila Prabhupada. Like His Holiness Jayaprakash Swami Maharaj had told these festivals like Kartik Maas and Kumbh Mela, they are for the general public. For devotee, every day is Krishna's day. Okay? For devotees, every day we come closer to Srila Prabhupada when we read his books. Okay? But what can make Krishna, Srila Prabhupada most happy? When we bring more souls closer to Krishna. So when we carry the legacy, okay, and pass it to the further audience, that makes them most happiest. So it is the time to get indulged ourselves and pass the same more and more. Okay. So yes, so Prabhupada had mentioned, looks like it is visible because Bhagavad Gita is spoken by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. One need not read any other Vedic literature. One need only I said it's
Attentively and regularly hear and read Bhagavad Gita.
It's by so Bhagavad Gita has all A to G solutions. It will tell us the mood that we need to have while dealing with certain problem. And another sannyasi in his form, he says these 700 shlokas of Bhagavad Gita, they are like 700 friends. Okay, 700 recipes. So we don't need to buy heart the 700 recipes. If you want to fill the stomach, you just need to know one recipe and cook it and then feed ourselves. Right? So if the question is whether to buy heart all the 700 shlokas or follow one, the second wins the race. Okay. We are not here to become scholars of Bhagavad Gita. If Krishna wanted us to become scholar, we will remember it anyway. No need to worry. Do we need to put a lot of efforts? Yes, of course. But in what form? In the form of doing something what pleases Srila Prabhupada most. Okay. So, in the same example, if we know one recipe, it can fill our stomach. So I know one very senior nice devotee. So he has been reading Bhagavad Gita verse number 3.30 for the last 2 months. And it is his own words that every time he reads, he is getting more revelations, and he is writing it. Okay, whatever new revelations. So 2 months for one verse. So what we are discussing is not something theoretical. Every single word of Bhagavad Gita is experiential in our life. That's why it is written here. Okay. So, you just need to follow. And if you just follow, for example, one verse of Antakale Chamameva, we don't have to take the birth again. So, one verse is sufficient to deliver ourselves. So, we are not in the race of by hearting many verses. If we can by heart more and use them in the service of the Lord, why not? But the focus should not be, let me remember all. Right? So, Guru Maharaj, 4th canto, when Krishna touched his conchal on his head, he immediately got all the. He wanted to appreciate the Lord soothing. Right? He did not know, he did not have the words. But as soon as when Krishna touched, Guru Maharaj with his conscience, then immediately he got all the knowledge. If you need again one proof, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.7. All the knowledge and renunciation, whatever we need, it will come if we do our parts. Yes. Next is Dr. Fix It. So fix your mind at the lotus feet of Krishna to fix all problems of our lives. Otherwise, what will happen? Same thing. We will fix one burden just to transfer. Problem will not be fixed. We're just shifting the problem. Okay? But when we focus our consciousness on the lotus feet of the Lord, all the problems are solved. And, every single devotee has proved in Srimad Bhagavatam through his own life example. Ambrish Maharaj versus Durvasa Muni. We just need to focus on the lotus feet of the Lord. Durvasa Muni was such a great, he had done so much of austerity. He did not have to worry. I mean, Ambrish Maharaj did not have to put so much of efforts. We just need to be simple and follow what Krishna has told. Our Bhagavatam teacher, his Vamshi Badal Prabhu, he was telling in one of his class that when we Krishna consciousness is very simple. Okay? So the problem comes in following it. Do 16 rounds of chanting and follow 400 principles. Very simple. Right? But when it comes to following, then it becomes very difficult because we feel there are more important things in this world to be done. Chanting, so easy. Now I can do 16 and sometimes 17. Right? So I can do it more. So we need to be very consistent in following it. LIC, we go a little faster. You have 19? 12, 15, 10. So LIC says, Ananya Chintayanto Mam, Ye Jana Parupasate, Esham Nitya Viyuktanam, Yoga Kyanam Mahamaya. So we, in this word, Mahamaya is very important at the end. So Krishna does it himself. Okay? We know the story of that Akbar and Birbal. Birbal asks this question, why your Lord do the things by himself? He can send so many of his army, so many people are there. And then he said, I will tell you with the help of an example. And we all know this example, right? This story. Birbal just
Yes, so even Lord who looks like his son, so
Yes.
he will come to save you.
Yes. I know Akbar is getting angry. Why did you do so? We said, I wanted to remind you that you had so many people who could give their life, but because it was your grandson, so you jumped for him. Okay? So what is the relation of Akbar, Birbal and Mahamaya here? Mahamaya means I do it. Krishna is saying. Krishna does not send any of his soldiers in the army to do it. Krishna is saying, I do it myself. Okay, so in this world, I was hearing this morning, in this world, the anxieties, the problems, the challenges, they cannot be stopped. The important point is for whom we are taking these challenges. I repeat, the problems and the challenges in our life are bound to come. Nobody can escape. Okay? But the important thing is for whom we are taking these challenges. If we are taking these challenges for ourselves, our family, our body, our relation, our country, okay? These challenges will bind us. But if we are taking them for Krishna, then the challenges will become much more meaningful. So if you want to take one word, if you all want to take one word away from the session, okay, or one key takeaway, that is meaningful challenges. Challenges we cannot stop. Let us make our challenges more meaningful. And then Krishna is always with us in any situation. And I see in may or may not be there. Krishna is always there. Why did we take LIC? Because these are tagline there, they put, right? In the जिंदगी के साथ भी जिंदगी के बाद भी. I heard from my Shiksha Guru. He said, a person to become Krishna conscious, he just need to be honest and a good observer. If he looks at the things around, how the things are happening, if he is a good observer and honest and accepting, the person will become devotee automatically. Just because we want to do it the things our way, we are not honest in our hearts. This is where we create our own problems. Is there anyone who need little bit of translation in Hindi, or they are going okay? I'm asking this question late, but is this okay? So we all see this ad, mutual fund sahi hai, right? But devotional services are best. So this was like again from the conversation of Ramananda Raya and Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. संपत्तिरा मध्य जीवेरा ओम संपत्ति गानी राधा कृष्णा प्रेमा याद्रा से ही बड़ा धनी. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu asked, of the many capitalists who possesses great riches, who is the topmost? And now Ramananda Raya is replying, he who is richest in love for Radha and Krishna is the greatest capitalist. So here, see, the important point is when we do our best, okay, we know this is Damodar month going on, right? Damodar month, two finger of Radharani represents our own endeavors, and the two fingers short, right? They represent what? Our endeavors and mercy of the Lord. Okay, so senior devotee was explaining that in this world we should do our best. Okay, but at the same time we should be very clear in our heart. Our best is not good enough. It means what? We have to depend on the mercy of the Lord. Okay, so whichever ashrama of the life, it is very, very important point. Okay, whichever of the ashrama of the life we are into, brahmachari ashram, then grihastha ashram, then vanaprastha ashram, or sannyas ashram. Every ashram has one important duty to be done. Okay? When we are in the brahmachari ashram, we need to learn. Okay? Then, as we progress towards the grihastha ashram, we need to earn. Okay? And then, when we go to the vanaprastha, we need to turn. Okay? Turn means give up our attachments and responsibility and keep on passing to the next generation. And then sannyasa. Sannyasa means not the burn, but return. We need to return back to God. So we need to focus on our main responsibility at each of the. Everything has to be done at every point of time. But every ashrama, right, has one important action to be done. So, yes. Yeah. So the who has read last?
The wealthy are generally accepted as the most important personalities in this material world. But when we compare a material man of wealth to one wealthy in devotional service to Radha and Krishna, the latter is found to be the greatest capitalist.
So yes, everything else is important, learning and learning and turning. But at the same time, we should not forget that we have to return, and return means depend on the mercy of the Lord. Our devotional life is not that now I am qualified, so you give me this. Okay, in our school, in our college, in our office, we do some prerequisite and then we demand, give me now the next level. I'm already doing the role of next role. for so many years. Now please give me. No, that will not work. Okay? योग्यता विचारे किचु नहीं पाए. If we feel we are qualified, it means we are not. Okay? We get the things before we deserve. Okay? But certainly after we desire. Desire means I can order something right instantly, and it has to come. And if it does not come, I can deduct some money. And we are in the controlling side, right? Bhakti, we are the recipient side. We have to have the desire, but at the same time, what is that third verse? Annoy, right? What is that? Utsaha Nishya Dharya. So we need to be enthusiastic and deterministic, but at the same time, we need to have the enough patience. Yes, Nike. Just do it. So, very strong. Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj says, some Matajis, because we are going to
In the morning, our first business should be to beat the mind with shoes 100 times. And before going to bed, to beat the mind 100 times with a broomstick. In this way, one's mind can be kept under control.
And Bhakti Siddhanta Maharaj meant it. He don't say it symbolically. Now, why it is so important to control the mind? Srimad Bhagavatam 11.23.42. It says, Avanti Brahman, example. It says, after observing all these things in this world, I found the root cause of all my problems. And the problem is not the demigods, not the time, not my karma, okay, but it is my mind. Okay, so the mind is our 6.6. Mind is our greatest friend and greatest enemy. So we need to control. Krishna says so many times, just give me your mind. Manmana bhava vatvato. So, and we don't need to ignore this because it is the same mind who is going to help us tomorrow when we are with Krishna. The same mind is going to give us more and more ideas how to serve Krishna better. Okay, so we just need to do it. Surrender once. And then we are done. Okay. MR. Good day. Ayurharti vaikum sam udanastam chayana sau tasyatto yachanonita uttam shokavataya. So the sunrise and sunset, it is taking and reducing our life by 1 day. We may or may not observe, but our life is gone by 1 day. His Holiness Vrindavan Chandra Goswami Maharaj was telling in his class, okay, very powerful. He said, when some goats have to be slaughtered, okay, sometimes they are worshipped. Their rice grains are put here on their forehead, kumkum, and they are going to be slaughtered very soon. When one goat is getting slaughtered, the other remaining goats, they are eating the grains on the forehead of the others, thinking they are not going to be slaughtered. So, Yudhishthira Maharaj and Yaksha, right? What is the biggest surprise in this world? Because everyone knows that we have to go, but we don't feel this for me. Everyone else will go, but I have enough time. Those who left their body this morning, yesterday at same time they did not know. Okay? हम लोग जी किसके लिए रहे हैं? Why are we living for? Okay. And somewhere the answer will be to die. Okay. It just happened 30 minutes back when I was coming. Many chickens were there. They were getting removed from the vehicle. And one that weighing scale, no, Raju, that was kept down. For a minute, I looked, think, why? Probably they sell their flesh by weight, right? So that's why our body that we are eating so much and so many things, okay, it is just increasing our weight so that Maya can slaughter it and sometime. It was very shocking. I'm not able to explain. Okay. Weighing scale and so many lives, they just checking the weight and then they are going to be. We are not that far We are also, we think we are human being. Yes, we are. There is no doubt. But the real human being is when we know our purpose of the life. What do we want to do? We are not here to die alone. We will die, but that has to be a meaning. Otherwise, not much difference. I'm saying for myself, not devotees. So that Vrindavan Chandra Goswami Maharaj's example was nice because gods are eating the rice thinking they will not die. But very soon, we don't know. One very important. Recently, one brahmachari left his body in Radha Gopinath temple, Chupati, and his bead bag, Japamala, was put on a place where everybody could see. And that day he had chanted 12 rounds. So it was an indication, it was a proof, message for those 4 rounds now cannot be chanted. So anyway we do the chanting. Let us offer best of best. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, we heard in Puri Yatra, was there in 4 places always. Raghav, right? Damayanti, their kitchen, Sachimala kitchen, Nityananda Prabhu where is there, and dance is done where Nityananda Prabhu is. Sachimata kitchen, yes, Shiva Hangan. So these 4 places he is always there. Raghav Pandit is known because he was giving best of best. One day, nice coconut, I think his grace Sudhir Gopal was mentioning in his class, that he wanted to offer the coconuts, and then the person who brought his hand touched the walls, which is right entrance. Okay, then he discarded them. We need to give the best of our best. We know our best is rotten, but whatever best of our best, at least we should give. So Srila Prabhupada says, Srimad Bhagavatam 1.15.39, very important. We need to give at least 15 to 20 years of our life to Krishna, and active years. Okay? If you want to give the time when nobody is accepting us, let us remember the same Bhagavatam's example. Now, okay, 10-15 years. Krishna consciousness means His grace, Vaishnavangiri Prabhu. It's called Khargar, scientist and a great personality. He was telling that we need to experience it today. If we are reading something, that after death we will go to Krishna, and because we are following Krishna consciousness, so we will go back to Godhead. Well, that is all true, but we need to experience it today. And if you cannot experience it today, it means something fundamental is missing. Okay? Krishna will accept we are in the moment, we are doing all the services. Well, all accepted, no doubt. It has to be experienced now, immediately. Okay? And if you are not able to experience, something fundamental is wrong. Okay? He was even explaining if somebody has got the fever. Some of the students came to him. They said, we could not do this service because we were suffering with fever. And he said, you got the fever because you did not read the Bhagavatam. And he gave 30 minutes lecture. Because when we read Bhagavatam, our consciousness settles down and we will cool, and because of those anxieties, he's a scientist. He can just telling the essence. So we need to experience it now. And otherwise, every single day is going to take our life by one day. We'll go a little faster. Gillette the man, the best a man can get. And the best that a man can get is Srimad Bhagavatam. Savai pumsam paro dharmo yado bhakti yado sajay ahi dukhi prati hara yaya masu asiddhati. So nothing best than that. The best thing for everyone is to surrender to the Supreme Personality of Godhead, Lord Krishna. Yes. Apple, think different. This is a favorite line of my Shiksha Guru. His Grace Jagjeev Jagannath. So, very important personality in my life. So he was telling that hammer every thought in your mind thinking of how to serve Krishna. So, if any nail goes and if it is going left and right, we just correct the direction, right, so that it goes rightly. So, yes, we need to think different, but every different thing may or may not be correct. But then we need to check the direction of the nail before it goes further deeper. Okay. Otherwise, in this life, there are so many things to be done. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.2.5. Muniyo sadhu prashtoham bhavati bhi lokamangalam yad Krishna samprashano yen atma supastiti. Okay. So just one verse before this. So in this line there are so many questions and answers to be. Every morning when we wake up and before we sleep, life is full of questions and answers. Okay. So we need to relate our questions as much as they can be related to Krishna. Punjab National Bank. The name you can bank upon. Okay. And Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.14. Apanna Samskritam Goram Yennama Vinasogana. I forgot. Tatha Sadhyo Vimucheta Yad Viveti Swanvayam. The one who is fearful to the fear personified. That is the importance of the name of the Lord. So, banks, yes, we need to bank, we need to depend. But ultimately, we need to depend on the holy name of the Lord. Oh, zero. It reminds of this is scope right. Cheto Darpan Marjanam. Right? We use it every day. Why not to green is close by Hare, Hari? No relation, no comparison, no offense. Thing is to use anything that we are surrounded with to remember the Lord. That is the whole purpose. And then Srutam Svakatha Krishna Punya Sravana Kirtana Tadayantastu Hiya Patrani Viduroti Sutta. Krishna is washing our heart when we hear the message. Very interesting. Okay, a learned person synonym is Bahushruta. Okay, Bahushruta is a synonym of a learned person. So, meaning of Bahushruta means one who had heard it sufficiently. Okay? That person is called actually learned. The habit of hearing. And these 2 hours of hearing, anyway, we are spending every day 2 hours for chanting. Right? Let us have one desire to chant pure holy name at least once in our life before we die. It shouldn't happen. We are leaving our body and we are thinking, oh, one day I wanted to chant nicely. It will be very shocking. We will feel cheated. Right? Life is ending. Okay? And that time I'm thinking, I wish I could chant it once in my life. So nicely that we always want to do it. From our heart, all of us we want to chant nicely. But only thing that we need to change is not one day, today. So that we don't die with that regret. And we feel somehow Maya cheated. Maya can make anybody forget, but it can never take the right of someone surrendering to the Lord at any point of time. It can give different distractions so that we don't remember the Lord. But if we want to remember the Lord and surrender to Him, Maya is not given that authority that it takes our right to remember Krishna. Okay, that's me. In human form of life, Krishna has given us free will to reinvent our lost relationship with Him. We can choose to be against, like Hiranyakashipu, or to be favorable, like Prahlada. How we reinvent is our choice. Okay? This is nice. YouTube means broadcast yourself. Preaching is the essence. Char hi saar hai. Okay? Tava kathamratam tapta jivanam kavidiritam kalmasavaham Shravana Mangalam Srimadatam Garantiye Goridajana. So, the favorite most verse of His Holiness Bhakti Charu Swami Maharaj. If we hear Maharaj reciting this verse, our hearts will melt immediately. So many times, very, very dear verse to Maharaj. When Prabhupada was, as we see, like he was dancing, first Adhyatra, he was dancing like a 1-year-old boy. Because of that enthusiasm. So, when Vishal Prabhu, I take 10 minutes. So, Vishal Prabhu, very dear to Srila Prabhupada. For Vishal Prabhu, no rules. Like a father is there and son can go and eat from the plate. That relationship with Vishal Prabhu had. So Vishal Prabhu asked this question: that can you define ISKCON, member of ISKCON and activity of ISKCON? Prabhupada gave 6-word answer. That is chant Hare Krishna and spread Hare Krishna. You get all the answers. His Holiness Kadambakanand Swami was asked, Maharaj, I need mercy. And Maharaj said, you want mercy? The person said, yes, I want it. And then Maharaj said, so distribute it. So, if we distribute, means prachar is sadhana, right? What we distribute, at least while speaking, we remember of Krishna. So, it's very important that we preach. We preach not to see how many people are able to follow. We preach, at least we are able to remember the Lord at that point in time. There are so many instances, right? Prabhupada gave his first class. Nobody was there. He was giving the class to the empty walls. So we preach not to the people, but to ourselves first. Whoever else can hear, that is a bonus. Salary is more important than bonus. You can survive without bonus, but what with salary? So broadcast the message all over the world. And this is what is most pleasing to the Lord. Bhagavad Gita 18.63. Preachers are most dear. This is the company I used to work for. RTRK earlier. We were our workers. So one towards Radha Krishna. We all get challenges in our life. Duryodhana and Krishna, both God. Whose shelter, whom we approach, right, that decides. Duryodhana went to Shakuni, Arjuna went to Krishna. This is the whole is Braje Parasitam Avanita Choram Gopangana Mancharotu Rachoram Aneka Janma Jitava Choram So, Navneet means butter, Chora means butter thief. So, when we see a hole, it will remind us of he can take away all our sins, the greatest of the butter thief. Mountain Dew. It says, Dar ke aage jeet hai. Right? Dar ke in front of Dar, there is victory, but they don't tell what is behind. So, once again, Bhagavad Gita 18.78, Yatra Yogeshwara Krishna, Yatra Partha Dharmadana, Tatra Sri Vijayo Bhuti, Dhruva Nitir Bhatana. So, yes, wherever there is Krishna, victory is always there. Dar ke aage bhi, piche bhi, left, right, everywhere there is victory, only victory. This we have discussed. Which is fearful to the fear personified. Real nectar, Urdu's 1.1.3. Okay. Nigamagalpadaro galitam phalam sukhamukha dharve amrita samvita. Sukhamukha amrita dharve samvitam. Pibata bhagavatam rasam malyam muguraho rasika bhuvi bhagavatam. This is the nectarian juice. Okay. Srimad Bhagavatam 1.1.3. So, and there is no other extra seed or pulp or anything, just the nectarian juice. What is the proof? It has no other, nothing else. 1.1.2. Right? Dharma projita katava, right? There is no other mundane activities that are part of Bhagavatam. It is a real nectarian juice. So when we see the real juice, that is not the real juice. Bhagavatam is the real juice. Once Srila Prabhupada was asked, Prabhupada, you have two options to travel. Teaching plan was decided. two options. One, Hawaii. Prabhupada said, why Hawaii? It was mango season. So devotee said, mango of Hawaii is world class. Okay, so you go to, if you want, you go to Hawaii. And second option, Russia. There is a lot of preaching opportunity. Prabhupada said that you go to Russia. And then further Prabhupada told, the preaching opportunity is more sweeter than the sweetest mango of the Hawaii. So, sweetest, like why? None other than Krishna. Radha Krishna Pran Gura Yugala Kishore Jivana Marane Gati Bangalore cement सस्ता नहीं सबसे अच्छा Krishna consciousness is not cheap. Park Avenue, the birthplace of Hare Krishna movement. When we see right, Park Avenue, then it should remind us of 26 Second Avenue. Maximum contacts. So 26 Second Avenue is the birthplace of this one. So when we see Park Avenue, you should remember it was not easy. When the first we have how many mridangas here? One. On harmonium, one mridanga, many kettles. When first mridanga of the ISKCON had started in US and there was no mridanga. Okay, when first mridanga was about to reach, Prabhupada did not even wait for the lift to come down. Come on. He just ran seeing the first mridanga. So the resources are very important to preach Krishna consciousness, but the mood to serve is more important. Prabhupada started ISKCON without mridanga. He said to open a center, you just need one person who can play mridanga, and if you see anybody, catch him and give katha. Okay, and center is started. So mood, right? Last, this is I think the last one. Maggie. Okay. So one person asked, we have been here for so many lifetimes performing sinful activities. So is it possible to counteract all those sinful activities in one lifetime, or does it require many lifetimes? What did Prabhupada answer? Can someone please read?
1 minute, that is Krishna consciousness movement. 1 minute, you are not reading Bhagavad Gita, what Krishna says. Sarva dharma pratyajya mamekam sharanam braja aham tvam sarva papebhyo mokshayishyami. You surrender to me, give up all your business. I will give you relief from all sinful reactions immediately. So it requires 1 minute. My dear Krishna, I was forgotten. Now I understand. I fully surrender all to you. Then you will become immediately free from all sinful reactions.
So, Ajamila, right, he remembered who? His son, whose name was Narayana. And he got the second chance and got the opportunity to go back. Right? Once a devotee was distributing this book, Second Chance. So other person said, yes, I want this second chance, but first you give me the first part of this, first chance. Do you have the book, First Chance? Then I will take the second chance book. So we would try to explain that we all have got this second chance in our life. So there is no book called Second Chance. It is to remind that we still have an opportunity. So the problem was not only with that person. Okay? That person was asking for the first chance book, which does not exist, right? It's a matter of understanding. We also want something else in the name of first chance in our life. We want to first see Krishna and then, oh Krishna, once if I get your darshan, then I will become your first class devotee. Right? We first demand Krishna, first you do this. But as we just discussed, Bhaushuta, a real learned person is one who has read it sufficiently and repeatedly. What is the mistake that Vyasdeva did? Vyasdeva was morose. But when Narada came, then at that time, after all this discussion, Narada told, yes, you have written about the Lord. All the Puranas, 18, right? Vishnu Purana, Padma Purana. Whom are they glorifying? Lord Krishna only they are glorifying. Okay? Then how can somebody question that Vyasdeva did not do the justice of glorifying the Lord sufficiently? He did it. But as compared to the amount of total writings versus the selection of verses for glorifying the Lord, it was very less. Okay? If you have 10 chapters which will be coming in your December exam, and 8th chapter is about Lord Krishna, you will say out of 10, one chapter means 10% marks. Let me do any 8 chapters to get 80%. But if you repeat the teachings of that one chapter in every single chapter, that message will go deeper. So the point here is remembering Vyasdeva, okay, that we need to hear repeatedly and sufficiently. And as we hear from a pure devotee, like Srila Prabhupada, that message goes deeper. Okay? Srimad Bhagavatam 4.20.24. When we, in the purport, Srila Prabhupada tells, when we hear from the lotus lips of a pure devotee, because the lips of the pure devotee are always in connection with the lotus feet of the Lord, so the aroma of the lotus feet of the Lord through his lips, when we hear that, those transcendental words enters our ears, and that makes a transformation. Okay? So with this we conclude here. We are always surrendered. Patri Prabhu, right? He was in Germany army, okay, and has taken the full charge of preaching in Nepal. He was telling, when we go to a barber shop, right, we are anyway we are anyway surrendered in this life. But whom we surrender, right? To the barber also we are surrendering. Why cannot we surrender once in our lifetime to Krishna? And if you want to surrender, last point, if you want to surrender, just saying surrender, surrender, surrender will not make us surrender. Okay? When we follow the instructions of Srila Prabhupada, how do we follow instruction? Prabhupada started his preaching from US, and in the first day, first class, he told about Chaitanya Charitamrita. Two hippies who did not even know anything. Prabhupada is the one, we were discussing about that from Brahmananda Prabhu. It is Prabhupada who had come to US. Krishna had not come. So, it is Prabhupada who used to teach them how to brush. Okay? Like a mother, when the child gets dirty, the same mother makes clean the boy and then appreciates how nice my boy is looking. It is you only, Baba, you did it. So it is Krishna only, Sravatam Swagata Krishna, who is cleaning ourselves. Okay? But now, see, to understand what is the role of spiritual master in our life, we all have Krishna sitting in our heart in the form of Chaitya Guru. This is from Bhagavatam, conversation between Prithu Maharaj and four Kumaras. If I'm not mistaken. So, if okay, can this come up here? Yes. Now, if Chaitya Guru is sitting in our heart in the form of Paramatma, have we heard Chaitya Guru or Paramatma speaking to us? No. If we give this mic to Chaitya Guru, and if the loud sound comes, that is the sound of the spiritual master. So there is no difference between Krishna and his bona fide representative, Srila Prabhupada. So mic in the hand of Paramatma, when that loud sound comes so that we can hear, otherwise it does not enter our ears. Okay? That is the voice of Srila Prabhupada in his students. Okay? So that important is the mercy incarnation of the Lord. If you want mercy from Krishna, Krishna says mercy over. Because the department of mercy is given to the spiritual master. And how we get their mercy? We get the mercy from spiritual master through their instructions. But Srila Prabhupada has never given me any instruction personally. His Holiness Sanatana Swami Maharaj says, by every single instruction is your personal. Any lecture, any class, any line is your personal instruction. Follow it. So Prabhupada, in his 10 years approximately, morning, evening, minimum 2 classes he used to give. Sometimes 7. Minimum every day 2 classes. Okay? So multiply 10 years into 365 into 2. Those many lectures are there. They are all the mercy. We want mercy, we need to grab it. So Prabhupada ki jai. Thank you so much, Prabhuji and Mataji's. Seek your forgiveness for taking the extra time and 9 years. If you want to share.
Any questions?
Yeah.
Hare Krishna, anyone would like to share your realizations and questions?
Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Thank you for such an exciting class.